The ancient imperial art of the continent passed down a legend about a catalogue of 9 recipes of power, written by the Mage Emperor, which recorded all of his life studies. The ancient Demon King was the most powerful being on the continent, and all of his knowledge was compiled into a book called the Book of 9 Secrets. This book was divided and spread across the world. Those who mastered its teachings could attain dominion over heaven and earth, controlling both in the palm of their hands. Currently, the book is in the hands of the Mage Emperor Zoe Fan. The information that Zoe Fan possesses the book leaked from within his castle, and now he has become the target of all high-level martial artists. While Zoe Fan was reading the book, one of his disciples, named Zalshan, burst into his room, desperate to inform him that the mountain troop had been defeated and wiped out. Zalshan also expressed concern that the 7 emperors might invade the castle. However, Zoe Fan reassured him, stating that not even the 7 emperors were a match for his strength, although his troop might not be so lucky. Zoe Fan then decides to go to the battlefield to assess the situation. Upon leaving the castle, he encounters a large army demanding that he return the Book of 9 Secrets. Zoe Fan smiles ironically and questions how a group of insects dares to challenge him. He then takes flight and charges at the troops, eliminating as many soldiers as possible. Shortly after, a voice from above echoes, claiming that Zoe Fan will never escape. Zoe Fan, however, shows excitement and advances, saying that he has been waiting for his enemies, the 7 emperors. The Sword Emperor speaks up and orders Zoe Fan to hand over the book in exchange for sparing his life and that of his companions. Zoe Fan responds that he is the head of the 8 royalties, recognized by the sanctuary, and that even if they all join forces, they would never defeat him. The Sword Emperor, however, questions whether Zoe Fan truly believes there is no one stronger than him. Another emperor, recognized as the most powerful in the sacred land, declares that the book is a relic of the ancient emperor and that they fight in the name of the sacred land. Zoe Fan, in turn, states that even though he is considered a villain and enemy of the sacred land, he would destroy them all. However, he is stabbed in the back by his disciple Zalshan, who reveals himself as the traitor responsible for leaking the information about the book and the mountain troop. Zoe Fan is disappointed in Zalshan, as he raised and taught him everything he knew, only to be betrayed. Now, all that was left for Zoe Fan was death. Or, at least, that's what his enemies thought. In his final moments of life, Zoe Fan curses his opponents and uses a self-destruction technique to destroy the book along with his body, preventing anyone from using the power contained within. When Zoe Fan self-destructed, his soul left his body and, mysteriously, was reborn in a new body, dead in a forest. Surprised by his new form, Zoe Fan wonders how he could have been reborn in this young man's body. Shortly after, he notices beasts lurking, ready to attack him, but they inexplicably flee. As he walked through the forest, Zoe Fan encountered an injured man who recognized the body he now inhabited. The man asked for help, but Zoe Fan ignored him, assessing his strength and realizing that he was at the 2nd layer of magical power. Upon realizing this, Zoe Fan revealed his true identity and used the 9th secret technique from the book, called Dry Touch, to absorb the man's soul and power. While meditating, Zoe Fan explains that, according to the record in the Book of 9 Secrets, Dry Touch is the ultimate technique of demons, capable of stealing souls and powers from other beings to enhance one's own strength. However, the user must fully concentrate to process the soul to avoid rejection. The absorption process lasted all night, and when Zoe Fan finally finished, it was already morning. He tested his new power by firing a burst of energy and, in his thoughts, stated that he would soon return to the sacred land to take revenge on the 7 emperors and end their existence. As he leaped through the trees, Zoe Fan reflected that his new body had been restored from scratch up to the 5th layer of power, and that it would still take some time before he could return to the sacred land. In the midst of this, Zoe Fan came across a conflict between warrior families, and his new body resonated with what was happening. Apparently, this body knew those people, which caused the situation to reflect on him. Zoe Fan tried to ignore the situation and continue on his way, but the body he reincarnated into seemed to have ties to the people in danger. Because of this, he was affected, collapsing to the ground as he felt a sharp pain in his heart. Zoe Fan questioned what was happening, wondering if the body he reincarnated into was useless. However, after meditating and examining his body internally, he realized that it was perfectly normal and capable of using magic without any issues. Nevertheless, he noticed that the pain in his heart had arisen after encountering Miss Luo, a member of the family in danger. After further analyzing his body, he discovered that he was bound by a magic called heart magic. For magic practitioners, this spell is like a curse, as it forces them to protect the person they are linked to. If they attempt to break this bond, they will likely face death. Zoe Fan accessed the body's memories to learn more about this magic. He discovered that, when the boy was a child, his father sacrificed himself for the Luo family, who took him in out of gratitude. Over time, he became a servant of this family but died during a bandit invasion. Upon understanding the memories, Zoe Fan identified the type of heart magic. As long as he didn't harm Miss Luo, his body would remain fine. Frustrated, he reflected that even killing would be better than being a slave to this curse. With no other option, he decided to protect Miss Luo and headed to the site of the conflict. Upon arrival, Miss Luo was shocked to see that the boy, named Xiafan, was still alive. Zoe Fan explained that it was a miracle he had survived. To avoid confusion between the names, Zoe Fan referred to himself as Zoiafan, the Mage Emperor. Assessing the strength of his enemies, he realized the battle would be difficult, as the weakest of them was at the 7th layer of power, and the leader was even stronger. While they attempted to negotiate, the enemy leader ordered a subordinate to attack Zoe Fan. In response, Zoe Fan cut the opponent in half, grabbed Miss Luo and her brother, and fled into the forest. The enemies were surprised by his speed, but there was nothing they could do. Miss Luo and her brother were angry with Zoe Fan, demanding that he let them go, as they did not want to abandon their soldiers to die. Zoe Fan then released Miss Luo near a tree and explained that if she returned, she wouldn't be able to do anything and would die in vain. He also gave her brother a lesson, telling him to stop spouting nonsense. He then asked Miss Luo if there was a safe place nearby. She indicated the misty forest, located next to the Black Wind Mountain. When they reached the forest, Miss Luo suggested offering herself as bait to distract the bandits, but Zoe Fan refused, stating that he would kill her brother if she did so. He insisted that Miss Luo's life was too valuable and that he would handle the problem himself, devising a plan to use the forest as a trap to eliminate the enemies. Miss Luo showed concern, asking him not to go, but Zoe Fan assured her that the bandits were no match for him. In return, he asked for a treasure as a guarantee that he would return. Miss Luo handed him a ring, a family heirloom. Zoe Fan then asked her to wait and ventured into what appeared to be a cemetery within the forest. At the center of the cemetery, Zoe Fan used the ring to summon a quartet of evil spirits. Suddenly, a purple windstorm enveloped the forest. When he returned to Miss Luo and her brother, they questioned what had happened. Zoe Fan explained that it was all part of his plan to eliminate the enemies. He then taught Miss Luo how to create magic shackles and other spells to use against the bandits when they approached. Miss Luo asked if this was the only way to escape, and Zoe Fan confirmed that it was. As they walked, he reflected that the Matrix method was more valuable than any martial art in the world. The first level of the Matrix he used was the mystery of the Zhongmon family, which possessed hundreds of Ling Ji, something priceless. The body Zoe Fan was inhabiting had casually created these Matrix formations. Zoe Fan then headed to where the enemies were and tried to lure them into his trap. However, the enemy leader ordered one of his henchmen to attack Zoe Fan immediately.